Lisa Daniels took a deep breath as the final votes appeared on the large screen. Once again, the answer was no. She kept her face calm, though inside she felt both anger and disappointment. For the 5th time, the Galactic Council had denied Earth's request for equal expansion rights. The Grand Council chamber buzzed with the soft sounds of 200 different species. Some had tentacles, others had wings, and a few were just clouds of light. Lisa was one of only 3 humans in the room. "The Council has spoken," announced High Counselor Thexol of the Zinthari. His blue skin shimmered under the chamber lights. "Earth's petition for unrestricted expansion is denied by a vote of 173 to 27. Next to Lisa, Commander Alan Wright shifted in his seat. His military uniform looked out of place among the colorful robes of the other delegates. "That's it then," he whispered. "They're never going to treat us as equals." Lisa nodded slightly but maintained her professional smile. "Let's not make a scene. We'll discuss this privately." After the session ended, many delegates approached Lisa with what seemed like sympathy, but she detected something else in their eyes. Was it fear? Satisfaction? Either way, it made her skin crawl. "Ambassador Daniels," called a voice. Lisa turned to see Counselor Thexol approaching. The Zinthari were one of the founding species of the Council, with technology thousands of years ahead of Earth's. At least that's what everyone believed. "Counselor," Lisa replied with a small bow, "I appreciate the clarity of today's vote, if not the outcome." Thexol's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "I wish to speak with you personally. Please understand that these restrictions are not punishments. They are safeguards." Safeguards. Against what exactly? Earth has followed every council regulation for 70 years. We've contributed technologies, medicines, and cultural works. What more must we prove? The alien leaned closer. "The truth, Ambassador. Your species terrifies many on the Council. What takes others centuries, humans accomplish in decades. Your adaptability is unsettling." Lisa struggled to hide her surprise at this rare moment of honesty. "So we're being restricted not because we've done anything wrong, but because you're afraid of what we might do?" The Council maintains stability. For 8,000 years we have guided younger species toward peaceful coexistence. "You mean you've controlled their development to ensure no one challenges the power structure?" Lisa replied. "Thank you for your honesty, Counselor. Earth will consider its options." As Thexol walked away, Commander Wright joined her. "What did the blue jellyfish want?" "He just admitted what we've suspected for years. They're deliberately holding us back." Lisa looked around the grand chamber one last time. "Let's go home, Alan. I need to speak with the President." The journey to Earth took 3 days by Council-approved FTL drive. During that time, Lisa and Alan prepared their report. When they finally reached Earth orbit, the blue and green planet looked peaceful from space. But Lisa knew their news would change everything. President Edward Mills received them in the Oval Office rather than the usual conference room. That told Lisa how seriously he was taking this meeting. "So they rejected us again," Mills said after hearing their report. His gray hair had more white in it than when he'd taken office 2 years ago. "And Counselor Thexol essentially admitted they're afraid of us?" "Yes, Mr. President," Lisa said. "After 70 years, it's clear the Council never intends to grant us equal status. They've been limiting our expansion, restricting our colony numbers, and controlling which technologies we can develop," Commander Wright added. "Meanwhile, they've been studying us, learning our strengths and weaknesses. If this continues, we'll be permanently locked into second-class status." The President stood and walked to the window. "What are our options?" "We can continue as we are, accepting their limitations," Lisa began. "We can protest more strongly through diplomatic channels, or, Mills turned to face them. "We can leave the Council." The room went silent. No species had ever voluntarily left the Galactic Council in its entire history. "Is that even possible?" Mills asked. Commander Wright nodded. "The Council Charter does include withdrawal procedures, though they've never been used. We've been developing contingency plans for years just in case. We call it the Exodus Protocol. What would this mean for Earth? The president asked. Lisa stepped forward. Immediate challenges, certainly, trade disruptions, possible military threats, but also freedom from their restrictions. We could expand at our own pace, develop technologies without their oversight, and form our own alliances. The president looked troubled. I need to consult with the full cabinet and the other nations. 24 hours later, Lisa found herself in a much larger meeting. Leaders from every major nation on Earth were present, either in person or via secure video. The debate lasted for hours. They've been holding us back deliberately, said the Chinese premier. This confirms our suspicions. But leaving could isolate us, argued the European Union president. We're just one planet against hundreds of species. Not necessarily, Commander Wright interjected. We've had unofficial communications from several smaller council species. They're as frustrated as we are. They might follow our lead. By evening, they had reached a consensus. President Mills addressed the group one final time before the vote. For 70 years, humanity has reached for the stars with one hand tied behind our back. We joined the council believing in its mission of peace and cooperation. Instead, we found a system designed to maintain power for those who already have it. Today, we choose a different path. The vote was unanimous. 3 days later, Lisa stood beside President Mills as he addressed the United Nations and the world. Billions watched as he made the historic announcement. Today, Earth formally withdraws from the Galactic Council. As the words left his mouth, Commander Wright was already sending coded messages to human ships and colonies throughout Council space. The Exodus Protocol had begun. In her apartment that night, Lisa looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Council was receiving Earth's official withdrawal. She wondered how they would react. Would they dismiss it as a human tantrum? Would they recognize the threat to their power? Either way, the galaxy was about to change. Lisa's comm device buzzed. A message from Commander Wright. Exodus Protocol active. All human ships responding. No turning back now. Lisa smiled. For the first time in 70 years, humanity would chart its own course among the stars. News of Earth's withdrawal spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. No species had ever left the Council in its 8,000 years of existence. Most alien diplomats believed it was simply a human negotiation tactic. They were wrong. Susan Parker looked up from her lab table as the door to her research facility slid open. 3 Vectari scientists entered, their crystalline bodies catching the light. Susan had been working on the Vectari homeworld for 5 years, helping them study human medicine in exchange for access to their advanced physics knowledge. Is it true? Asked Zenva, the lead scientist. Earth has left the Council? Susan nodded. I received the official notice this morning. All humans have been asked to return home within 30 days. The Vectari scientists exchanged glances, their crystal bodies flashing with colored lights in their silent communication method. Susan had never learned to read these light patterns fully, but she could tell they were upset. You have been a valuable colleague, Zenva said finally. Your departure will set our research back significantly. Susan began packing her personal items. That's kind of the point, isn't it? Earth has given more than it's received for 70 years. As she worked, Susan noticed something strange. The Vectari scientists watched her with what seemed like new respect. Yesterday, they had treated her like a talented child. Today, they kept their distance as if she were somehow dangerous. Word was spreading through the facility. Alien researchers who had barely acknowledged her for years suddenly nodded respectfully as she passed. In the dining area, conversations stopped when she entered. Susan realized that Earth's decision had changed how she was perceived. For the first time, the other species weren't looking down on humans. They were worried about what humans might do. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. On the trading hub of Nexus Station, Captain Greg Summers of the Earth defense vessel Relentless faced a difficult situation. His ship had been sent to escort human merchant vessels home, but a council inspection ship had just demanded to board. Council. Regulations require compliance with inspection requests, said the Zinthari captain through the communication screen. Greg kept his expression neutral. I'm afraid that no longer applies to Earth vessels, Captain. We've withdrawn from the Council and its regulations. The Zinthari's four eyes blinked rapidly. This is unprecedented. Our orders are to inspect all ships in this sector. Your orders don't apply to us anymore, Greg replied. We will defend our ships if necessary. It was a bluff. Greg's ship was outmatched by the Council vessel, but the Zinthari didn't know that humans had been hiding their true military capabilities for decades. The inspection ship eventually backed down, unwilling to create an incident. As the Council ship moved away, Greg received a private message from an unexpected source. The mine, captain of a Prelian transport ship, wanted to meet urgently. The Prelians were considered a minor species in the Council hierarchy. They had joined only 200 years ago and were still treated as newcomers. In a quiet section of the station, Greg met with Captain Vril. What Earth has done is brave, Vril said, his furry face serious. Many of us have discussed similar actions, but none had the courage. Greg was surprised. You've considered leaving the Council? The Council claims to treat all species equally, but the founding races control everything. The Prelian government would be interested in alternatives. I'm not authorized to discuss such matters, Greg said carefully, but I can pass your message to my superiors. Back on Earth, President Mills received more such messages each day. 7 different species had secretly contacted Earth's government, expressing interest in possible alliances outside Council authority. In the White House Situation Room, Lisa Daniels presented the latest intelligence. The Council is publicly claiming our withdrawal is temporary, a negotiation tactic. Privately, they're panicking. Commander Wright nodded. They should be. Human trade made up 12% of the galactic economy. Our sudden absence has caused market crashes across Council space. President Mills looked at the reports. And what about the Exodus Protocol? How many of our people have we recovered? 87% of humans in Council space have either returned or are en route, Commander Wright answered. The rest are in remote locations or special situations. We're working on reaching them. And our hidden projects? Mills asked more quietly. Wright smiled slightly. Now comes the fun part. We can finally reveal what we've been working on. Across the Sol system, facilities that had been disguised as research stations or mining operations began to change. On Mars, massive doors opened in the side of Olympus Mons, revealing shipyards that had been hidden for decades. In the asteroid belt, defense platforms activated, their weapons more advanced than anything Earth had shared with the Council. Lisa looked at the screens showing these revelations. How did we keep all this secret? The Council underestimated us, Wright said. They thought their monitoring systems could detect any significant technology. But humans have always been good at finding ways around rules. Among the most shocking revelations was the Aegis Grid, a planetary shield system far beyond what anyone thought possible for human technology. As the shield flickered into existence around Earth for its first public test, sensors across the galaxy detected its power signature. On the Zinthari homeworld, the Council held an emergency session. High Counselor Thexol addressed the gathering. We have made a grave error in our assessment of the humans, he admitted. Our intelligence suggests they have been systematically hiding their true capabilities. The technology they've revealed in just the past week exceeds our estimates by centuries. A Vectari counselor spoke next. Without human innovation, several critical projects have already stalled. Their scientific minds think differently than ours. We need them. Then we must bring them back, said another counselor. By force if necessary. Thexol shook his head. Military action would be unwise. Our latest intelligence suggests the humans have defensive capabilities we cannot overcome easily, and worse, their example has inspired others. Several minor species are now questioning their place in our hierarchy. As the Council debated, a Zinthari science vessel entered the Sol system secretly. Its mission was to gather intelligence on Earth's new defenses. What it discovered caused even greater alarm among Council leadership. Humans weren't just defending their home system. They were preparing to expand at a rate the Council had always forbidden. And without Council restrictions, humanity's growth would be explosive. The galactic balance of power was shifting faster than anyone had anticipated. 6 months after Earth's withdrawal, the consequences were clear across Council space. The empty Earth seat in the Grand Chamber was a constant reminder of the unprecedented situation. The Council tried to maintain that this was a temporary problem, but privately, panic had set in. On the Council hub world of Centauri Prime, the absence of humans was felt in unexpected ways. Research projects stalled without human scientists. Trade routes became less efficient without human merchants finding new connections. Even entertainment sectors suffered without the popular human music and stories that had spread throughout the galaxy. Director Kevin Morgan of Earth Intelligence studied the reports coming in from his agents. His office, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, was filled with screens showing data from across the galaxy. Council military movements, diplomatic messages, trade disruptions, all painted a concerning picture. "They're getting desperate," he told his deputy, Olivia Collins. "Look at these troop movements near the border of our new colony in the Tau Ceti system." Olivia nodded. "They're still not sure how to respond. Military action would be risky with our new defense systems, but they can't just accept our independence either." Kevin pulled up another screen. "What about your contacts with the other species?" Olivia had been secretly meeting with representatives from 7 minor Council species who were considering following Earth's example. The Prelians are closest to making a decision. They've suffered under Council restrictions for centuries. The Nodari and Vex are watching closely too. "If even one more species leaves, it could start a chain reaction," Kevin said. "The Council knows this. That's why they're getting more aggressive." On Earth, life had changed significantly. With no more need to hide their technological advances, humans were developing at an astonishing pace. The Aegis grid shield system had been fully activated, making Earth virtually impervious to attack. Shipyards in orbit and on Mars were producing vessels faster than ever before. More importantly, colony ships were departing weekly for star systems that had previously been off-limits under Council restrictions. Humanity was expanding rapidly, establishing outposts and settlements beyond Council space. President Mills addressed the United Nations 6 months after the withdrawal. "Today marks a new chapter in human history. Our first independent colonies beyond Council space have been established. New Chicago in the Tau Ceti system already has 5,000 residents. Liberty Station near the Horsehead Nebula has become a hub for free trade with non-Council species." The response was enthusiastic. After decades of feeling held back, humanity was finally moving forward at its own pace. But not everyone was celebrating. "We need to be cautious," Lisa Daniels warned during a cabinet meeting. "The Council won't allow this situation to continue indefinitely. They're afraid of what we might become," Commander Wright agreed. "Our intelligence suggests they're debating various options to bring us back under control. Everything from economic sanctions to military action." "Let them try," said another advisor. "The Aegis grid can protect Earth, and our new colonies have their own defense systems." President Mills raised his hand for quiet. "We didn't leave the Council to start a war. We left to find our own path. Yes, we'll defend ourselves if necessary, but our goal is independence, not conflict." The truth was that Earth was walking a dangerous line. Humanity's rapid expansion and technological growth frightened many Council species, but others watched with interest, wondering if Earth had found a better way forward. In deep space, a Xanthari science vessel made a critical discovery. It had entered the Sol system illegally to gather intelligence on Earth's defenses. What it found sent the Council into emergency session. High Counselor Thexol addressed the gathering with grave concern. "The humans have not only been hiding their technological capabilities, they have been exploring regions of space we declared forbidden millennia ago." The Council chamber erupted in shocked voices. Forbidden zones were areas the founding species had declared off-limits for reasons they never fully explained to newer members. "How is this possible?" demanded a Vectari counselor. Those regions are protected by ancient warning beacons. No species should be able to bypass them. Yet the humans have done exactly that, Thexal replied. Our science vessel detected human probe signatures in the Sagittarius Reach, an area that has been sealed for over 5,000 years. The implications were enormous. The founding species of the Council, the Zinthari, Vectari, and Moxar, had always claimed that the forbidden zones contained cosmic dangers too great for younger species to handle. Now humans were freely exploring these regions. Back on Earth, a small team of scientists worked in a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. They were studying artifacts recovered from the Sagittarius Reach, items left by a civilization far older than any known to the Council. These technology patterns match nothing in the Council database, said Dr. Samantha Lee, examining a crystalline object that floated above the examination table. But they do match the fragments we found in human DNA decades ago. Her colleague, Dr. John Price, nodded. The Council didn't restrict those areas to protect us, they did it to hide the truth. Humans have a connection to whatever civilization created these artifacts. This was the secret Earth had discovered shortly before leaving the Council. Genetic markers in human DNA suggested that ancient visitors to Earth had left their mark on humanity's ancestors. The Council had been aware of this but had hidden the truth, fearing what it might mean. On the edge of Council space, the Prelian government made its decision. Following Earth's example, they formally withdrew from the Galactic Council. Within days, the Nodari followed suit. The stable power structure that had existed for 8,000 years was beginning to crumble. In his private chamber, High Counselor Thexal received a secure message from the most secret Council archive. The message was simple, but terrifying. Human genetic markers match Guardian patterns. Ancient warning protocols activated. Thexal stared at the message for a long time. If humans were somehow connected to the Guardians, the mysterious beings who had supposedly created the Council eons ago, then everything the Council had built might be based on a lie. The empty Earth seat in the Council chamber no longer seemed like a temporary problem. It was the beginning of a new galactic order. 2 years had passed since Earth left the Galactic Council. What began as a single act of defiance had grown into something much larger. Earth had established the Human Cooperative, an alternative to the Council with different founding principles. Several former Council races had joined, creating a competing power block in the galaxy. Admiral Nicole Barnes stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Defender, watching as her fleet patrolled the border between Cooperative and Council space. The ship was part of Earth's new border fleet, tasked with protecting the growing number of independent colonies and member worlds. "Status report," she ordered, her eyes on the main screen showing nearby star systems. "All quiet, Admiral," her first officer replied. "Council ships are maintaining their distance on their side of the border." Nicole nodded but didn't relax. "They're watching us. 2 years ago they thought we'd come crawling back within months. Now they're trying to figure out how we've grown so fast." The Human Cooperative operated on entirely different principles than the Council. Where the Council controlled and limited technological development, the Cooperative encouraged sharing and innovation. Already, member species were advancing faster than they had in centuries under Council rule. On the Cooperative headquarters station orbiting Jupiter, representatives from 18 species gathered for their monthly assembly. The station was a marvel of collaborative engineering, with sections designed to accommodate the environmental needs of each member race. Lisa Daniels, now serving as Earth's chief representative to the Cooperative, addressed the gathering. 2 years ago, humanity stood alone. Today we stand with friends who share our vision of a galaxy where all species can reach their full potential. The Prelian representative, Vril, spoke next. "Under Council rule, my people were told our technological development must proceed at a responsible pace. In 2 years with the Cooperative, we have advanced more than in the previous century." Similar stories came from other members. The Nodari had developed new medical treatments. The Vex had revolutionized their energy production. Freed from Council restrictions, these minor species were showing remarkable capabilities. But the ICI growth of the Cooperative had not gone unchallenged. Council forces regularly tested the borders, searching for weaknesses. economic pressure was applied to species considering leaving the Council. And more concerning, there were signs of more direct action being planned. In a secure research facility on Mars, scientists were debriefing a recent defector from Council space. Vextra had been a senior Council scientist before fleeing to the Cooperative. His crystalline body glittered under the lights as he shared his knowledge. The founding species have been lying for millennia, he told the human researchers. They claim to guide younger races toward peaceful advancement, but in reality, they've been suppressing technology to maintain their dominance. Dr. Samantha Lee leaned forward. We suspected as much. But why? Fear, Vextra replied simply. Fear of being surpassed. The three founding species, Zinthari, Vectari, and Moxar, reached the peak of their development thousands of years ago. They've been stagnant ever since. When they encounter species with greater potential like humans, they ensure that potential is never realized. This confirmation of humanity's suspicions was troubling, but it wasn't the most shocking revelation Vextra brought with him. The forbidden zones that humans have been exploring, they contain technology from beings the founders call the Guardians. The Council claims these areas are dangerous, but the truth is they don't want anyone accessing Guardian technology that might threaten their power. In the Sagittarius Reach, one of these forbidden zones, a team of human explorers had made an astonishing discovery. Dr. Jason Rivera led the expedition aboard the research vessel Discovery. They had found what appeared to be an ancient gateway system, a network of faster-than-light transportation hubs that could revolutionize travel beyond Council space. The system seems dormant, Jason reported back to Earth. But our initial tests suggest it can be reactivated. The strange thing is, only human touch seems to trigger a response from the controls. This discovery supported the theory that humans had some connection to the ancient Guardians. It also made humanity even more dangerous in the eyes of the Council. President Mills studied the reports from the Gateway expedition with mixed feelings. This could change everything. Instant transportation between distant systems would give the Cooperative an enormous advantage. Commander Wright, now promoted to General, nodded in agreement. But it also makes us an even bigger target. Our intelligence suggests the Council is planning something. They can't allow us to activate this network. Their fears were justified. That same night, Council Special Forces attempted a covert operation to sabotage Earth's Aegis grid. The attack was detected and repelled, but it marked a dangerous escalation. In an emergency session, the Cooperative leadership debated how to respond. Some called for immediate military action against Council targets. Others urged caution. Lisa Daniels spoke passionately for restraint. We didn't form the Cooperative to start a galactic war. We formed it to create a better alternative to the Council. If we respond with aggression, we become what we left behind. President Mills faced the most difficult decision of his presidency. The Council's action was a clear act of war, yet full-scale conflict could devastate the galaxy. After hours of debate, he made his choice. We will strengthen our defenses and accelerate the Gateway project. But we will not attack. Instead, we will send a message to all Council species. The Cooperative welcomes any who wish to join us in building a future based on cooperation rather than control. It was a bold strategy. Rather than fighting the Council directly, Earth would continue to undermine it by offering a better alternative. The message spread across Council space, despite attempts to block it. More species began to question the restrictions they had accepted for so long. And in secret chambers, even members of the founding races began to wonder if their leaders had been wrong about humans. As the third year of independence began, Earth and its allies stood at a crossroads. The Gateway system promised new opportunities for expansion and discovery. But the Council's desperation was growing, making them more dangerous than ever. The next move would determine whether the galaxy faced war or transformation. 5 years after Earth's departure from the Galactic Council, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The human cooperative now included 23 former Council species and had matched the Council in economic output. The old power structure that had stood for 8,000 years was crumbling. The most remarkable discovery during these 5 years was the ancient gateway network. Dr. Jason Rivera and his team had successfully activated 7 major gateways, creating instant travel links between distant parts of the galaxy. What made this discovery even more significant was that only humans could activate these gateways. Other species could use them once operational, but only human touch could wake the ancient technology. This ability suggested that Earth might have been more important to galactic history than anyone had realized. Some scientists believed humans were descendants of the Guardians who had created the Council in the first place. Others thought the Guardians had somehow altered early humans, giving them unique genetic markers. On the cooperative station orbiting Jupiter, Admiral Nicole Barnes reviewed the latest intelligence reports. "Council military movements have increased along all our borders," she told the assembled leadership. "They're massing ships near the Tau Ceti Gateway." President Mills, now in his second term, looked concerned. "They've been building up forces for months. Are they finally ready to attack?" Lisa Daniels, who had just returned from a diplomatic mission to neutral space, offered a different perspective. "I don't think they want war. My sources say there's division within the Council. Many species are questioning the Founders' decisions, especially after seeing our success." "Then why the military buildup?" asked General Wright. "Fear," Lisa replied. "The activation of the Gateway Network has terrified the founding species. It confirms what they've always feared, that humans have some connection to the Guardians." This theory was supported by new findings from the Sagittarius Reach, where researchers had discovered ancient records describing the Guardians. These records suggested the Guardians had not disappeared as the Council claimed. They had simply changed form, perhaps even becoming early ancestors of humanity. The radical growth rate of cooperative species provided further evidence that the Council had been artificially constraining advancement. Species that had been stuck at the same technological level for centuries were making breakthroughs weekly after joining the cooperative. President Mills made a bold decision. "It's time to meet with the Council directly, not as supplicants asking to return but as equals seeking peace." The suggestion was controversial. Many in the cooperative leadership feared a trap, but after much debate they agreed. Lisa Daniels would return to Council space for the first historic summit between the two power blocks. The meeting was set to take place on Neutral Station, an ancient diplomatic facility in unclaimed space. As Lisa's ship approached, she saw hundreds of vessels from both Council and cooperative space. The station itself was a marvel of ancient engineering, rumored to have been built by the Guardians themselves. High Counselor Thexol of the Zinthari led the Council delegation. Though his blue skin had paled with age, his 4 eyes still held the same calculating intelligence Lisa remembered from their last meeting 5 years ago. "Ambassador Daniels," he greeted her formally. "You returned to us under unexpected circumstances." "Much has changed, Counselor," Lisa replied. "We are no longer seeking admission to your table. We have built our own." The negotiations lasted for days. The Council demanded that the cooperative stop activating gateway nodes. The cooperative insisted on freedom for all species to develop without restrictions. Neither side was willing to yield on core principles. Then, during a break in the talks, emergency alerts sounded throughout the station. A massive object had appeared at the edge of the system, a ship larger than anything ever recorded. "Unknown. Vessel approaching," announced the station's AI. "Design does not match any known species." On the station's observation deck, representatives from both the Council and cooperative watched in stunned silence as the enormous ship moved toward them. It was beautiful and terrifying, with flowing lines that seemed to bend space around it. "Guardian ship," whispered Thexol, his voice filled with awe and fear. A transmission came from the vessel. It displayed no image, only a simple message in an ancient language. Strangely, Lisa found she could understand it, though she had never seen it before. "The test is complete," she translated aloud. "The cycle continues." Confusion spread through the gathering until an elderly Moxar counselor stepped forward, his gaseous form swirling with agitation. "The truth must be told," he announced. 8. 1,000 years ago, beings calling themselves the Guardians created the Council. They told our ancestors they would return when a worthy species emerged, one that could break free of control and find its own path among the stars. The revelation stunned both delegations. The Council's founding species had not been protecting younger races. They had been preventing any from passing the Guardian's test. As if confirming this, the massive ship sent another message. Humanity has awakened. The Council's purpose is fulfilled. President Mills arrived at Neutral Station the next day to meet with both the Council leadership and representatives of the Guardian ship. In a private chamber, the truth of galactic history was finally revealed. The Guardians had seeded intelligent life throughout the galaxy, creating the Council to guide development, but also to test which species could break free of control. Humanity, with genetic markers from the Guardians themselves, had finally passed that test by leaving the Council and charting their own course. What happens now? President Mills asked the Guardian representative, a being of light and energy who had taken human form for the meeting. Now the real work begins, the Guardian replied. An ancient threat sleeps beyond the galaxy's edge. The reason the Council was founded was not just to test species, but to prepare them for this threat's return. We needed a species with both independence and the ability to unite others. President Mills looked from the Guardian to Thexol and back. You're saying that everything, the Council, the restrictions, Earth's departure, was designed to prepare us for some greater threat? Yes, the Guardian replied simply. And it is coming. The question is whether the Council and Cooperative can set aside their differences to face it together. As the summit ended, Lisa stood with President Mills, watching Council and Cooperative, ships departing side by side. 5 years ago, we left the Council thinking we were rejecting control, Lisa said quietly. Now it seems we were fulfilling a plan thousands of years in the making. Mills nodded. Perhaps. But we made our own choices, every step of the way. Whatever comes next, humanity will face it on our own terms. The future of galactic civilization now depended on whether the Council could accept humanity as equals rather than subordinates, as the ancient threat would require both power blocks to stand united. Earth's departure from the Council had not been an ending but a beginning, the first step toward humanity's true role in the galaxy.